Hi, folks. Welcome to Your Quality of Life Healthy Alternatives. I'm Dr. Christine Sauer, and I'm very excited today to be with the author of our newest and best-selling book, Invisible No More. You can see it. It's Invisible to Invincible Forevermore. Delores Garcia. Do I pronounce it right?
Yes, Garcia. Yes.
Delores is not just a best-selling author and podcaster and university professor, but she also helps people to experience greater health, wellness, and joy in their body. Oh, isn't that wonderful? I'm so happy and really humbled to have you as a guest on this show. Thanks, Delores.
Dr. Christine, I'm thrilled to be here. And, you know, I love our book because it has brought so many fantastic people into my circle that I would have never, I probably would have never connected with. And you're just on the top of that list. So I'm excited to be here with you.
Oh, that's so sweet, Delores. And call me Christine. That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
So what is your life story and how did you get from invisible to invincible? And if you want to know the details, you have to get that book.
Yes. You know what? That the word invisible is the word that pulled me into this book project, because that was really how I felt about myself. I felt very, very small, to the point of invisible, that I was there, but I wasn't really there. And maybe I just didn't even know that I was there. And so that word invisible, and can we underscore that it is a feeling. It's not a literal. It's not like that I didn't have a life, that I didn't have friends, but it was my internal experience of my life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. How many people, women especially, feel right now still invisible?
Yes.
Even though, of course, you can touch them, they're around, but it's a question, invisible to who?
Yes.
Who do you want to be visible to?
Yes. Yes.
And what does it mean to you? So what does invisible mean to you, the word?
Well, and so I think that is so good. And that actually came out as an aha moment when I was writing the story, is that, wow, I was invisible to myself. And so, you know, a lot of people trip over the word invincible because they're like, oh, it's the superhero life, that, you know, that nothing can conquer them and nothing can come against them. And I don't know if that's what my definition of invincible is, but you know what part of it is that I know who I am and that I see myself. That's what invincible feels like to me.
I like that definition. And it is similar for me because none of us is truly invincible.
No.
I mean, we can get cancer tomorrow, and in a way, the cancer will win or we will die eventually. That is not a loss of anything else but our physical life. But to be truly invincible in your sense, and I love that, doesn't it mean that we have conquered our own fears and our own life?
Yes. And maybe put in there our own invisibility, is that we become, and it was so interesting as I was preparing for our interview today, I was thinking, wow, I wonder why Linda, the publisher, why she was told invisible and invincible, and why wasn't it invisible and visible? I just thought that was so, and I don't know the answer to that, and probably only the divine knows that, but I was like, wow, it's not that we're perfect or that we don't have fears or that we don't stumble and fall. And I mean, we're still human, but Christine, I know who I am now. And that makes me inherently invincible. I'm no longer invisible to myself. So my true self, that's who I have come to know.
So how have you yourself seen yourself from feeling invisible to now feeling invincible?
One of the first things that I did, and this has been 3 years ago, and so it was long before I heard of this book, probably long before the book was actually created. But I had always wanted to do a physique competition, it's a bodybuilding, a physique competition, a bikini contest, whatever you want to call it. But you train very specifically and very hard in the gym. And then I just laugh about this. I go, I don't even know why I signed up for that. But then you put on this little teeny bikini, you put stilettos on, and you ask a panel of judges to judge your body. And it's a hilarious, looking at it, I mean, Christine, it's kind of a hilarious sport.
It sounds scary. For most people.
Yes, no, and absolutely. And especially as women, we get all tied up in judging our own body and then having other people look at our body and judge it. And I was like, this is a surreal experience. I am on this stage and I will tell you, I had never worn stilettos and I had never worn a bikini in my entire life. And I'm like, ow, wow. See, and I had gone through some personal transformation, and I was stepping into what now I understand is my invincibility, is that I was coming out of invisibility and doing what I always wanted to do. I had always wanted to do a physique competition. I thought that those girls were amazing athletes and they were so beautiful. And I always felt like I couldn't do it. And so that was one of the first things that I saw myself do. I was like, oh, that was amazing. Yeah.
And how did you make out?
It was a small venue, which is totally okay. And they put you in age categories. So I was in the 50 plus masters category because I did 2 events back to back. On the first event, I was 51. And then I had a birthday. And on the second event, a week later, I was 52. And I ranked first in, I think I had 6 different events, categories, and I ranked first in quite a few, second and third. And it was an amazing experience. Yeah, it was very profound, very emotionally, mentally profound.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But most people like myself, even if I would try to go on stage, I would never win because my body just doesn't look good enough, because after losing 150 pounds, you have some excess flabber baba that would make everybody laugh, which wouldn't bother me, but probably they would throw me out.
And you know what? There actually is a category now in some of the events that it is the body transformation, that they will show the before picture and then the competition picture. And so they are judged and ranked on different criteria. But man, the honor and the props that I give individuals who have actually morphed their bodies into something very different. It is the same principle. You changed your body, I changed my body. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is hard whatever you do. So tell me about how in your life, what did you do from childhood? What did you study? What was your career? And how did you arrive at doing what you're doing now?
Oh, such a good question. When I look back on my life, I go, wow, that was an absolute building process. So, Christine, I call my life connecting the dots. I can look back and I go, oh, I see how that added into this next one and this next one. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes. Looking back and you go, oh, I thought that was just a random thing, but it really wasn't. It was stepping stone. So I decided as a 17-year-old out of high school that I wanted to study nutrition. I was very interested in health. I wasn't really a competitive athlete. I was a recreational athlete, and I just didn't have the self-confidence and the competitive mind to be a high competitive athlete. I think my heart was there, but my brain was not there. And so I studied nutrition, and I actually had the privilege and the opportunity to go to graduate school and then be hired by that university to teach as in an adjunct faculty position. So studying nutrition and teaching that, I will tell you, I taught that for 20 years. And I always felt like something was missing because okay, we can talk apples and oranges. We can talk good nutrition. But when you really start talking to humans about changing their food-related behavior, honey, it's not really about the apples and oranges. It's what is your emotional, spiritual, and mental, and your history connection and relationship with food. And you having lost that significant amount of weight, does this ring true to you of how you were able to change your body?
Absolutely. I'm the typical emotional eater. When I'm down in the dumps or stressed, I want to eat chocolate, carbs, because I know as a brain health, mental health coach, I know how the food and especially carbs increase your serotonin and other feel-good neurohormones.
Right.
And we know that. So food is a drug, just like any other drug. Sugar is a drug. Sugary, fatty, salty foods like fast foods, they are drugs, and the food industry uses that to their advantage.
Yes.
So what did you do with that knowledge and that insight, which is amazing? By the way, I wrote a little book about that too.
Oh, did you?
Eating for vibrant health and explosive energy.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Just for people that don't know what to eat, and because there's the ideal, there's what you better avoid, and there's something in the middle. So that's there in the book too. What's acceptable.
And so I was very happy with my career, and I loved teaching. I loved my students. I loved being in that environment. That was 100% all positive. But there was always that underlying regret or frustration that was I really teaching and facilitating these hundreds of humans to be able to make better choices, because we can know something, but there's something standing in our way. So life changed. The university that I was employed at was really losing enrollment, which was across the country, a very true pattern. And so they actually were cutting budget, and I ended up losing my position as an adjunct faculty. I was not tenured. I did not have that job security. So after 20 years, I felt like it was a pretty good run on it. And so I decided to do some other things. There was some personal changes that were happening, and I got certified as a personal trainer because I was like, I love the gym. I'm always at the gym. I can just get a job there at the gym. And, but it was the same kind of frustration, Christine, that you can teach people what to do in the gym. You can help them do it, but is it really changing the fundamentals of human behavior? And so
not, because by March they quit going to the gym.
Yes. And I mean, I had clients that I was at a particular gym for almost 2 years. I had clients that stayed with me. They loved how I trained. They loved my classes. Everything was great. but there was still something missing. So I really look at it as a trifecta. We look at the nutrition, we look at the physical impact that we're having with our lifestyle. And then the thing that was missing was the mindset, the emotionality, the spirituality, the mental, the historical input of that. I became a certified life coach. So this is all connecting the dots. And then I still,
just have to close the door.
I still felt like there was something missing. And it turns out, and you probably know this, 95% of the thoughts that we have are on the subconscious level. So when we're attending to our conscious thought, that's good, but that's only about 5%. And then whatever kind of leaks over from our subconscious that we can consciously attend to. So I have become a certified subconscious reprogrammer, and being able to tap into the subconscious and those beliefs that some of us have been literally carrying around our whole entire life, and then being able to dissolve those energetically and be able to reprogram them. And so food and exercise challenges become so much more easy to handle when your subconscious belief system says, yeah, I mean, why is it easy for me to eat healthy and to exercise? And I have no problem going to the gym. I am no different of a human than anybody else, except that I have programmed my subconscious to believe certain things that facilitate my healthy behaviors. So that was the missing link.
Just interject one thing in that,
please,
because genetics plays an important role. The biochemistry plays an important role. And sometimes you can have a little intervention that changes those impact with a few amino acids that makes a big difference.
Yes, yes. And, you know, I am a very, very strong fan of Dr. Bruce Lipton and also Dr. Joe Dispenza, and their rhetoric of being able to change our biological potential based on the thoughts that we think. So I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but I know that there's a chicken and I know there's an egg. And so
we need both of them.
That's exactly
including
right.
the rooster.
Including the rooster. Yes. And so understanding that and being able to have so much more empowered choices, that we are not victim to our subconscious belief systems and that they just rule us. Now, let's go ahead and be empowered and take a little bit of that control back.
I really like what you say, Delores. We are not the victims of our circumstances.
That's exactly right.
Genes, thought patterns, culture, upbringing, whatever. Once we have reached adulthood and our parents can't tell us anymore what to do, at least we do have the capacity to decide for ourselves that we want to change.
Yes. And so I'm gonna give a shout out to, because I struggled with depression for about 30 years. And that was a very interesting experience. And I'm very glad that I don't live in that headspace any longer. And that's where the passion of my coaching business comes, is that I don't want anyone to feel guilted or gaslighted that they are causing that themselves. You know what? I didn't want to be depressed, but I was, and I kept trying to find solutions and answers and remedies for that. And what I would like to offer is that if you're in a place that things are not as joyful and abundant and ease and flow as you would want them to be, get some resources and some interventions and some coaching and some therapists and some good doctors that can help you find a solution to that. And because there were so many years, Christine, that people would just say, why are you depressed? You have, just cheer up, Delores, just cheer
Yeah.
up. Like, right?
Snap out of it. I know I was
Yeah.
suicidal twice and
Yes. And so
really
you
depressed.
understand
I know
that.
exactly where they're coming
Yes.
from, and I still talk to people. So if you hear that you are in a space, I'm there and I talk to you, and I don't charge for the first consultant later, even if you need it sometimes. I don't care about the money.
Yeah.
But I'm here to help people, and sometimes it's hard to access mental health services. But even if you talk to somebody else when you're in that space, your husband, friend, somebody you trust, clergy, teacher, whatever, do so. Don't keep it for yourself, and you are not alone.
Yes.
I think that's so important. You sharing your story of depression, that's why let's talk about it is important, although it doesn't make a difference if people just talk about it. But it's important for people to know they are not alone and there's help out there.
Yes. And really that you can, I really term that I healed from that depression, because the therapist that I worked with, she specialized in EMDR and was able to access really what was behind the depression and be able to have that healing there. Yeah. And that is, I mean, I really truly say that I am healed of that depression. And do I feel depressed? Do I feel down sometimes? Yes, I do, because I'm human, but I don't suffer from depression as a diagnosis. So I want to give that hope out there. And I don't think that
it's the same for me. And you can get off your medication, and yes. EMDR is great. I do havening techniques, which is combining body energy and touch with the same idea of influencing the amygdala and the neurological circles. I call it EMDR on steroids because it's so much faster and nicer. Yes. But yes, whatever you do something. Start your journey to get better, to become invincible, just like Delores and I have done. Yes. Because we all can do it. Yes. Yes. As humans, we have potential. Yes. So Delores, I know you're writing on a new book. Tell us about it. Or is it out yet?
No, it is not out yet. I'm still in the draft stage. And so I've mentioned Linda Sunshine West is our publisher on our collaborative book. She had written another book, A Year of Fears. And I read that book, and I don't recall what page it was. I think it was like page 69. And I'm reading it and I am like, oh my goodness, I think that I need to do something. And so what came to my mind was I was going to do a year of hard questions, but then I got too impatient. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. So it came down to 100 hard questions, because the essence of what I was reading on that particular page in her book was about the difficulty of asking questions. And I'm like, that is my number one gateway right there, is that I will silence myself and not ask hard questions. And so the book is not about philosophically hard questions to answer. They are about what is a hard question for Delores to ask whomever, whatever. And so it took me a little over a month to ask 100 hard questions. So it was whatever I hesitated asking, whatever I was afraid to hear the answer to, that was a hard question. And I just documented everything. And then what I did, because I am a subconscious reprogrammer, I wrote the new programs that I wanted to program into my mind, so that those questions, those type of questions, are no longer hard for me. Because honey, there was emotionality, there was history, there was experience with them that had become a program in my mind, and it was holding me back. And so it was a beautiful transition from being invisible. I was also silencing myself, which is that not a form of invisibility?
It's either silencing or distracting. I think many people do either one of the two. Distracting by doing drugs, eating, watching TV all day, playing computer games, going on social media, not coming off. That's distracting. And
Yes.
silencing yourself is probably similar, just squashing it down
And so really the bottom line is the commonality, exactly what you said, is that we are not showing up in our life the way that we can and the way that part of us wants to, but something's holding us back. And so so I do a big shout out to Linda for writing her book of Year of Fears, and then being able to see that beautiful work in progress of showing up well, using my voice well in a very authentic, true way, and life-changing. So hopefully next year that book will hit the market, and I've already designed the cover, beautiful cover, and 100 hard questions and what I learned asking them. Yeah.
And that is a real good topic, because we all need to ask ourselves the hard questions, or have a coach ask us those hard questions.
That's
because
right.
Otherwise we can't delve deep enough in us.
Yes.
And I love that. So let me ask you, what's the hardest question that you asked yourself?
The probably the category of hardest questions is two come to my mind. If I worried that it was a dumb question, that I was going to look stupid. And I would acknowledge that there was a fear of looking ridiculous and looking dumb. And I actually would practice with people that I was pretty sure I was going to be safe with. And it also had to do with if the person, if I felt intimidation with that person, because then, yeah, you fear that you're going to look dumb and ask a dumb question. And I just kept working it. And I'll tell you, and I told Linda this many times, is that she was my practice target. She intimidated me until I didn't really know her. I just knew her persona. And I'm like, wow, you have got it going. And I feel very small, and this is going to be a dumb question. And I would tell her, Linda, this is a hard question for me to ask you. And because she knew that I was writing this book, and she's like, thank you for telling me that. And then she could understand where I was coming from. And so the fear of looking dumb. And for those of us who are educated, it's an interesting juxtaposition, is that we're educated, but yet I have this ruling fear that I'm going to look stupid. Is that why I'm educated? Because I don't want to look stupid? So interesting, right?
That's it. That's
Yeah.
why we wanted to be so highly educated. And at some point we realized, hey, we are all stupid. It doesn't matter.
I mean, there are things that we just don't know. And I'm like, embrace your ignorance. It's okay.
You know, my dear mother, she's 91 and not well, but she always told me, to know how stupid you are, you have to be pretty smart.
I'm going to totally take that from your mama. Yeah. Yeah. And there's just things that we just don't know, and we don't need to write this moral interpretation that I'm a worthless human being because I just don't know this. And I'll just announce to myself, well, you just don't know this, and this is a way to figure this out. Quit sitting in the corner of the room and just ask the question. It's fine. Yeah.
And it's okay not to know everything. It's absolutely okay. And we compare us with those big people, big influencers. They seem to know everything. They struggle just like us. And I love a quote by another of my mentors, Dr. Joseph McClendon III. He is awesome. And he said, compare yourself to yourself for progress. Compare yourself to others for possibilities. I like that.
Very good. Very, very well said.
Positive psychology on its best.
Yes. Yes. I appreciate that. Because the field of possibilities is so wide. Why not just view what other people are doing? And I'm like, that's possible. That's possible.
And then you can take a little aspect that you especially admire and try to emulate it. You'll never be like them or exactly the same, but in your way, you will be even better.
Yes. Yes.
In some way.
Yes. You know what? And that has become my my mission in life, is to live my life the most Delores way possible. And you know what? It's like a guarantee. Like, even if I tried to be you, it would be Delores trying to be Christine, and thereby I'm still Delores, and it's fabulous. And just stepping into me.
Let me try to be Delores. No, it would be ridiculous, to be honest. I'll never be you.
Right. And so you know what? I'm a winner because I'm just me being me, and that is the ultimate.
And isn't that the perfect way to be? No stress, no pressure.
Yes.
So, Delores, to wind that up, if somebody really likes what you said and they want to connect with you, yes, I'll put the website under the video, but how can they connect with you?
Yeah.
So the podcast version.
Let's put down Delores Garcia coaching.now.site. That's my website. And yeah, so let's put that link on there. But I want to call everybody's attention. There will be a contact or connect with me button, and that will drop you onto my Calendly so that you can, let's do a little conversation. Is that if there are blocks that people want to get over, that you keep trying to do something, but you know that, wow, things are just not going as easily as you want them to. Let's get some of those programs out of the way, and we can talk about that. I do all of my work remotely, so it's on Zoom. I even do coaching just on the telephone, and so I do a lot of energy work also, and it doesn't matter. We don't have to be in person. I am going to start training clients in the gym again, but that is the only aspect of my business that I'm going to do in person. I just don't find great confidence in writing a plan for somebody and then they have to go do it themselves. I want to be there with them. So I'm a little hands-on on that one.
And that is a wonderful thing. And I'll make for sure that if they're watching on YouTube or they're listening to the podcast, they can go to the notes and go to the website where it has all your links, including the booking button. And go to Delores Garcia coaching.now.site and see what she can do for you. Thank you so much, Delores. It was such a pleasure to talk with you.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. When you combine modern science, ancient wisdom, nature experience, and love, magic happens. I'm Dr. Christine Sauer, physician, naturopath, coach, human. It feels like magic to my clients when their lives are transformed through the skills combination of natural and human sciences, ancient philosophies, and caring human-to-human interaction. Discover this kind of modern wizardry and let's prepare powerful healing potions together. Come and enter our wonderful world of wellness.